Okay, so feeling uncomfortable with advice from a question about feeling uncomfortable with advice from uh, a enlightened teacher in speech marks, shall we say? Um, all I'd say with that is spiritual teachers, coaches, sponsors, people who represent authority. It's um, it's a position, it's a very difficult thing because what you've got to understand is people who get into positions where they're called a teacher or they claim to be an enlightened teacher or whatever it is, or a sponsor or whatever, is they get projected with a lot of power. And so often a lot of them can succumb to defects of character, temptations, visanas, because they're not able to handle the adulation, the praise, the things that come up that can create ego inflation. And so they do often, um, through Hawkins' research, a lot of them do fall, especially spiritual teachers. So hence, so spiritual students often aren't, you've got to have a lot of sympathy for them because a lot of these teachers are very high and then they fall dramatically suddenly. So, and I repeat this story, but it's actually very, very common. So you'll get teachers, the one in Oregon, who's very famous. I won't exactly say his name on the video, but people will know what I'm talking about. So he was actually in a very, very high spiritual state. Thousands of people from around the world were coming to visit him. He was writing illuminated books. And then all of a sudden, one day, so you get all this worship, all these people sort of bowing before you, and you're in these illuminated states speaking words of wisdom. And you're still under threat of temptation. So you can fall for it. You can fall for I'm amazing. You can fall for I'm special. So at a certain point, so everyone now worships you as God. And then one day you fall for a temptation, whether it's a woman in the group, whether it's actually I am God because people think I'm God and they bow down every time I'm in the room. And then it's like you get taken over. It's like you get demonically possessed. So it's like, okay, okay, everyone here in the temple, we're going to have sex orgies from tomorrow. I have a message from God. Sex is holy. There's nothing wrong with sex. So as of tomorrow, there's going to be sex orgies. Also, it's a very, very good thing for you to donate your money to the ashram. And I'm starting an orphanage for the disabled children in India. So please do. You earn very good karma if you donate to the orphanage I'm starting up. Don't worry about it. You'll be rewarded in heaven. And you find out within a few weeks he's got 97 Rolls Royces in the backyard. So 97 Rolls Royces and sex orgies. Now, this person who's had hundreds, he was actually at a high state. So I also have, I'll probably get a lot of flack on this video. I may not do. Probably no one will watch it, but never mind. Um, is that the gurus, I feel sorry for the gurus because they're not able to handle, you see, they go to these places, like a lot of pop stars and whatever. The power tends to corrupt. They're not able to handle the temptations of suddenly having followers and people thinking they're special. So they do eventually, or if it's like women worshiping them adoringly, they're not able to handle it. So they just, at some point, they fall for the temptation. They're not able to resist. And I do have compassion as well for the teachers that fall. But of course, after they've fallen, they usually got a big following. So you'll get a huge group of people who say, Master teacher is amazing. He transformed my life. And yet you'll speak to him and something won't resonate. You go, there's something wrong. This guy's not enlightened. And all I would say with that is, generally speaking, if your intuition with a teacher is that it's not right, I would say don't go with it. Go with your intuition because your intuition is like the sixth sense. because your ego can't tell anything. Your ego is your mental mind, and it's only got limited information and belief systems to operate on, so it's not very advanced. If you meditate and pray and you're doing a lot of spiritual work, you're actually connecting to the infinite source of all wisdom. So you'll get information coming to you that something's not right. So if you're doing a lot of meditating, a lot of spiritual work, and you get a sixth sense, like, don't go to this person, there's something wrong there, I would go with that, because especially with spiritual counsel, um, you want to make sure you're taking spiritual counsel for someone to the best of your ability. I mean, is there a way of guaranteeing that the person you're talking to is of integrity, which is the most important thing? And there is one way. Unfortunately, it is through muscle testing. So if you've got a good kinesiologist, you just ask them to check, is master teacher integrous in integrity? And if the answer is yes, then rest assured you can go to that teacher and take advice. They are aligned with truth, and to the best of their ability, they will serve you from truth. If they're not in integrity, i.e., they've fallen for temptation, they're actually detrimental to you, because they'll be operating from vested interests. They'll also be having negative influences, which will be to lead the seeker astray for whatever motives are orchestrating them. So I would say, so be yeah. So that's what I would say with spiritual teachers. Um, it's important to get someone you trust. Unfortunately, for spiritual seekers, getting, how do you know? Well, it's difficult to know. You go on your sixth sense. You when you're very spiritually unevolved, your intuition may not be very good. Otherwise, then you can use muscle testing or kinesiologist. Yeah, but if your intuition is saying no, I personally wouldn't go to a teacher, because I mean, if you got, I would have all my ducks in a row. Everyone says they're transformed. My intuition says yes. Everything seems yes, and there's nothing, Otherwise, why would you put? You're putting your soul at risk, really. So I'll stop that. Yeah.